Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 304. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the JP8 Report. It was a pretty decent weekend. Then they're all sped up yesterday evening. That's why I wanted to just do this one this morning. Then we got our 12 o'clock one coming up in a few hours. So before we get down to business with this morning, don't forget to click that follow button if you're not already a follower of the JP8 Report. And then please, right next to it, click that thumbs up button for a share and give us a like. And then give us a share also. And don't be afraid to please get engaged with the chat. I will do my... So just so you know, I can see chat here, I can see chat here, and I can see chat here. So if I'm talking, I see y'all chat in there, I can respond verbally, or if I take a second, I can respond back. Okay. So please engage me on the chat. I need some feedback, what's going on here and stuff. And then also with the Rumble wallet, you have the capability to be able to give tips also. Okay. But we won't elaborate on that part. I'm looking for the follows, the likes, and the chats. All right. So this is the JP8 report for the 19th of January. And then we'll start off with America 250, which would be for this morning's, it'll be the 18th of January, 1776. And at noon, it'll be 19th for the day. All right. This is a sad one, all right? And we've been alluding up to it. We knew it was coming because we saw what happened on New Year's Eve, 1775, with the defeat at Quebec City, all right? And the death of General Montgomery and the wounding of Benedict Arnold, the eventual traitor, right? So at the Council of War, held at the headquarters in Cambridge on January 18th, His Excellency General Washington was there. Honorable John Adams, and he was a member of the Continental Congress. Also, he was the second president, if you didn't know. Major General Ward, Major General Putnam, Brigadier General Heath, Brigadier General Spencer, Brigadier General Sullivan, Brigadier General Green, and Brigadier General Gates were all present at this Council of War. His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief, laid before the Council letters received last night from Major General Schuyler, who was the commander of that operation, including copies of letters from Brigadier General Worcester, Colonel Arnold, and Colonel Donald Campbell, containing the melancholy account of the death of General Montgomery and the wounding Colonel Arnold and the subsequent failure of the success of the assault upon the city of Quebec on the 31st of December. His Excellency then requested the opinion of the Council whether it be proper to present circumstances of the lines, to detach a reinforcement from hence, to secure the troops in Canada. The question being put, it was resolved that in the present feeble state of the regiments here, it was improper to detach any force from these lines to Quebec or Canada. The general then asked whether it, in the present critical situation of affairs in Canada, he should, in their opinion, stand justified in requesting, in behalf of the continent, a supply of troops from the New England governments, which was unanimously resolved in the affirmative. The Council then unanimously advised His Excellency the General immediately to apply to the legislature of each of the above-mentioned colonies forthwith to raise a regiment of 728 men, officers, including, and direct them to march with all possible expedition by the route prescribed by Major General Schuyler to Canada to be continued until the 1st of January next, as part of the Continental Army, should the affairs of the continent require it. His Excellency then demanded the opinion of the Council whether 10 regiments of militia of 728 men each, wow, that's 7,200 men, officers included, to be added to the troop now in the lines and expected to be enlisted, would not be a sufficient number to answer all the purposes of offense and defense ordered and intended against the ministerial army in Boston. Resolved unanimously that as matters are at present circumstanced, it is best that 3 regiments intended for Canada should be taken out of the 13 which have been requested to reinforce the army in these lines, and that 10 regiments only be marched to Cambridge to serve until the 1st of April next April. The Council then were unanimously of opinion that in the present situation of affairs of the colony of Rhode Island, continually subject and exposed to the attack of the ministerial fleet and detached bodies of troops, it was neither prudent nor reasonable to demand any more troops from thence. And this is a true copy. And from the Perez Morton, he was the deputy secretary. So now it's officially known that we lost at Quebec City. And then we lost a general, and we had several people injured, including Benedict Arnold. All right. And they were trying to figure out what to do about the loss. And it looks like they said, we can't commit no more soldiers to that cause, which is right, because they would have lost in Boston. All right. So what do y'all think about that? American history, man. All right. So next is Dalmatian Burger Group. They make smash burgers and dogs right here in Copper's Cove. And all their ingredients are homemade, including their buns. And they're located in Copper's Cove on the west side behind Bush's. And they're open for lunch Monday through Saturday, 11 to 2. And today they're having Star Wars trivia if you're around here. And then Tuesday through Saturday they're open for dinner 5:30 to 7 unless they sell out. All right. So give them a try. All right. So before we get going with about the stuff about Minnesota, just want to remind y'all about Saturday. Saturday was a very, very, very sad day here in Copper's Cove, as we had the funeral for Officer Garrettson at the Bell County Expo, or the Cadence Bank Center, whichever we want to call it. It was at 10 o'clock. They had well over 1,000 people attend his funeral, and it was a very long procession there and back. I personally didn't get to go, but I read it the accounts of it in the paper, because man, this stuff is hard. This stuff's hard. His GoFundMe has already raised over almost $20,000. I don't have the link of it up here, so that was good. They're still trying to raise money for his daughter. If you get a chance, you go look for the GoFundMe for his daughter. It's the one that says Elijah Garrettson, Garrettson, and you'll see the goal on it is $118,000, which is his badge number he had in Copper's Cove. All right, so let's go on here with the rest of it. Let's see. All right, yeah. All right, so this is just a quick rundown for this morning on the JP8 report, because it looks like there's a lot of news to come down. I'll tell you right now, I read last night and I read this morning and heard this morning there are 1,500 U.S. Army soldiers from the 11th Airborne Division in Alaska that are on alert to deploy as needed from the president if he invokes the Insurrection Act. He is not playing games. From what we're going to go over just for a little bit, he is not playing games, and neither should we. This is unbelievably insurrection at its core and needs to be dealt with and finished, right? We got a lawless people and lawless government operating in Minnesota. And the fact is that our president had to alert 1,500 soldiers for deployment into the United States under the Insurrection Act is absolutely crazy. He should not have to do this. These people in Minnesota are elected representatives and they act like they're anarchists, which is these, okay. So we have elections coming up in 2026. This year, they need to be replaced. They need to be replaced. These people are fooling you. Get rid of them. Get rid of them now. And get some proper representation back in your state. So, the first thing we're going to go over is, and if you've never heard of the 11th Airborne Division, they were a reflagged division from 2022. They used to be the 25th Infantry Division in Alaska, and now they got reflagged in the Biden administration, or President Otto Penn. They probably signed the proclamation or whatever it was by Otto Penn anyway. In 2022, they got reflagged to the 11th Airborne Division. So now we have the 11th Airborne Division, and we have the 82nd Airborne Division, and we have the 101st Airborne Division / Air Assault, right? But yeah, they specialize in Arctic warfare. So prayers be out to them. Hopefully the president doesn't have to invoke the Insurrection Act. But if he does, they're ready. Don't screw with the U.S. Army. A mob of anti-ICE agitators stormed a church on Sunday in St. Paul, Minnesota, interrupting a worship service after protesters claimed a pastor inside was affiliated with Immigration Customs Enforcement. Video shows agitators chanting, I call them rioters, chanting justice for Renee Good inside a sanctuary at City's Church as the services began, raising concerns among law enforcement and religious leaders about protesters targeting houses of worship amid escalating anti-ICE operations across the Twin Cities. If you didn't know, Twin Cities is St. Paul and Minneapolis. Just like you have the Metroplex here in Texas, Dallas, and Fort Worth. In one video circulating online, agitators can be heard chanting justice for Renee Good and who needs justice, we need justice, as they stood inside a church during the service. In another clip, the person filming says demonstrators positioned themselves in the middle of the sanctuary as the pastor was speaking. And the person filming then described the disruption as a clandestine mission and claimed agitators had just learned one of the pastors at the church was connected to ICE. Who really cares? That's a church service and a pastor. That's why churches, like my church, we have a protective service team, right? We are always on guard to protect our pastor in the congregants inside of our church. Evidently, they didn't have that, or they were overwhelmed. But the police, the Minneapolis police probably didn't want to take part anyway and help out, show their true colors, right? 600 strong Minneapolis police don't want to do jack. ICE shared one of the videos of the protests inside the church, which widely circulated on social media Sunday. Agitators aren't just targeting our officers now, they're targeting churches too, DHS said in the post. They're going from hotel to church, hunting for federal law enforcement who are risking their lives to protect Americans. And then I'll read one more paragraph in there. DHS then called out Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, saying they are responsible for whipping these mobs into a frenzy and then allowing them to run rampant. We won't be deterred, DHS said. ICE isn't going anywhere. And then the DOJ's opened an investigation into the church protests to determine whether civil rights laws were violated. Why would you do that to a religious institution? Why? It doesn't make sense. These people got so much hatred inside of them that they won't interrupt the church service. And who cares if the pastor inside has a part-time job? Because, if you didn't know, there are many churches out there that got part-time pastors. They have their regular full-time job, and then they have then they come in and are pastor of a church. And the chances are him being an ICE agent is slim to none, because most of those guys that are Immigration Customs Enforcement have full-time jobs, and they come from outside the area in. So they're probably wrong for, how the rumor mill starts, right? And then we have another interdiction of ICE trying to apprehend an illegal alien that it was, where did they say he was from? They were trying to apprehend this guy. He's a child sex offender, and they were trying to prevent ICE from actually apprehending him and getting him out of their community. So these agitators or rioters were comfortable while allowing a legal alien that was a child sex offender to reside in their community. How much decency are in these people to allow a sex offender to run wild inside, or run free, whatever you want to call it, inside their neighborhood, and not let ICE take him out of the streets? Minneapolis police didn't do it, and he was a sex offender. So why not let federal law enforcement take them off their hands and get rid of them? Not get rid of them, but get them out of there, right? So another viral video circulating on social media Sunday appeared to show rioters, not agitators, interfering with Immigration Customs Enforcement operations, targeting an alleged child sex offender in Minnesota. The video, posted 2x and viewed more than 750 times within hours, shows an ICE agent confronting people in St. Paul who said these are two straight articles from St. Paul. It's not just Minneapolis. Who said they were honking their horns and disrupting federal officers while attempting to take a suspect into custody. And he's quoted, "We're here to arrest a child sex offender. You guys are out there honking." An agent says in the video. "No, we're press." Someone off camera responds, "We're not honking." The agent then points to a nearby vehicle. That vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigations while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who you guys are protecting. Insane. That's quote unquote. The video then cuts to the agent standing in the snow beside a vehicle repeating honking. "Trust me, I understand," the agent tells someone inside the car before they slam on the horn. In another moment, the agent is seen speaking with occupants in a different vehicle who appear to question the legitimacy of the arrest and attempt to usher him away. At one point, a woman standing behind the agent's vehicle can be heard saying, "Just go, they're lying, don't listen to them," while waving the car onward. Responding to the video on X, DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin on Sunday praised federal law enforcement officers for continuing their work amid increasing resistance. God bless the men and women of ICE who risked their lives to arrest these criminals, McLaughlin wrote. And then White House Press Secretary weighed in saying, God bless ICE, a message that was later posted by the official White House X account. And Elon Musk reacted to the video as well, simply saying crazy. Where we at? 6:50. Okay. Hold on just a sec. Well, I'm getting this ready here, okay? Don't forget to like the podcast and follow if you're not already a follower. Okay. And please share if you can. All right, I'm all set. All right. So this is on and on and on. You got, federal law enforcement aren't going to go in and arrest someone unless they have a warrant anyway. And those people interfering with a legitimate operation by ICE is interfering with a federal law enforcement operation, and that's a federal offense in the first place. So these people are playing with fire because they can be arrested and sent to jail, regardless if they have children at home, elderly people they're taking care of at home, a husband or a wife at home. It doesn't matter. If you break the federal law, you're going to jail. All right? And it just keeps going. Let's see. The next article is Kristi Noem. She was on CBS Morning News yesterday and then went off on Margaret Brennan for statements she made several weeks ago when she announced the name of the ICE agent that shot the girl, was it Renee Good, right? Announced the name of the agent that shot her in an attempt to dox him, in which they had to go into hiding. This is crazy. So the part I'm going to read real quick is, we're not even going to get to there's even more. I'm going to run out of time this morning. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem chided CBS News host Margaret Brennan on Sunday for naming the ICE agent who fatally shot Renee Good earlier this month during an interview. Brennan asked Noem about blank. I'm not going to mention his name to protect him. The ICE agent who shot Good in Minneapolis and his injuries. Federal officials have said that when Good pulled forward in her vehicle toward an ICE officer, he acted in self-defense. Don't say his name. I mean, for heaven's sakes, we shouldn't have people continue to dox law enforcement when they have an 8,000% increase in death threats against them, Noem told Brennan. Brennan pushed back and said, his name is public. Well, just because it's public doesn't mean you got to continue to do it. Two wrongs don't make a right, okay? I know, but that doesn't mean it should be continued to be said. He got attacked with a car, and that was trying to take his life, and then people have attacked him and his family, and they're in jeopardy. And we have law enforcement officers every day who are getting death threats and getting attacked at their hotels, and getting ice thrown at them. Ice balls hurt. Okay. Brennan said DHS Secretary if she could elaborate on the ICE agent's status after the injury. Well, of course, no one condones violence against anyone, but here, CBS reported that he did have internal bleeding in his torso, but he was released the same day. So is he back at work? And CBS also asked if blank received a 3-day suspension as per required guidelines. We followed the exact same protocols that we have had for years as investigation of these situations, Noem responded. Any threats against any type of police officer, like the one that just died here in our city, in the line of duty, and elsewhere, whether it be Killeen or Austin or Dallas or Minneapolis or Washington, D.C., then, I'll put it like this. Here in Texas, we have what do they call? Oh man, well, where they list your property and your taxes and stuff. Well, if you're a law enforcement officer, you can request to have your name redacted from that. Well, it's still public to them, to the CAP, right? But I can't remember what the name of it is, but you can appeal to make it redacted, but they'll know that it's who it is and where they live. But when you look at it online, it's not, and that's a good thing, right? Is to protect them and their families. Cops don't need their identities because there are nefarious people out there, whether they'll be these anti-ICE people or people coming out of prison or gangsters or organized crime people. They're always looking for a way to kill and injure and intimidate law enforcement officers. I'll get to that one tomorrow. Later on. I'm probably going to need to get that. So, what are we at? We're at 6:56. We're doing good. We got about 4 minutes left here. Let me get a drink of water. And again, thank you all for tuning in. And don't forget to follow the podcast by clicking the follow button and clicking that like. We're going to raid in just a few minutes over to Before the Noise with Chad Prather, okay? I'll get to that one later. So the last one I'm going to go through is, you remember the guy that ran for mayor of Minneapolis and got beat? He's a DSA person. He's a Somali also. Well, I'm probably going to have to get into this a little bit later because what time we got? We got 2.5 minutes. Well, he is, I got an opinion article right here. He is attempting to establish white-free zones in Minneapolis that were patrolled and protected by Somalis. That white people are not allowed into those areas, like a chop zone in Seattle that was going on during the George Floyd riots that they had back in 2020. He's trying to do the same thing here. And, the guy is a sitting state senator in Minnesota, and he's trying to instill anarchy in Minneapolis. And this person, David Marcus, says it's not going to work. I'll just read what I can before I run out of time. You know what? We're going to run out of time here. Yeah. Okay. 2 quick things. I'll get back to this after at 12 o'clock because these are important. All right. So the things I want to tell you about is on February 21st here in Gatesville, we have our Lincoln Reagan dinner. There's a QR code down there in the bottom left. You're welcome to come. Lieutenant Governor Patrick is going to be our featured speaker. The tickets are $60 each or $100 for a couple. Very inexpensive, right? And it's going to be in Gatesville. We're going to have chicken and we're going to have steak. All right? And then the next thing is... Where is my mouse? There we go. All right. So these are my socials. And you can find me on X, Facebook. You can find me on YouTube and Truth and JP8 Report. But you can find me. I will be back here at 12 o'clock with the full JP8 Report with more than what we just talked about now. These 2 articles I ain't got to yet, but we'll be getting back to that. So thank you all for tuning in this morning. I really appreciate it. So this is James Pierce with the JP8 Report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out. and I'm raiding over to Chad Prather.